Hi everyone, it's great to be back here for another week, and the direct advertisers have made a really big comeback. So don't go away and we'll look at those numbers. Hi there, it's great to be back, and there's just been so much been going on. I must admit, heaps of development this past week, lots of things, exciting things happening in my life, and I'm sure they're likewise they're happening in yours as well. And once again, masterclass lessons going very strongly. ParkLogic is booming, like all is good, all is good. And we can see that Black Friday, you know what? Numbers are going up. So I'm really excited about that. So without further ado, let's take a look at the numbers and see what they have to say. All right then. Okay, so here we go. This is the 27th of November. Oh my gosh, the year's going really quick, that's for sure. All right, so normalized RPM and RPM, and we can see if we look at the normalized RPM, that is continuing to rise, which is really nice. The RPM is a bit flat, but the normalized RPM, remember what normalized RPM is revenue divided by URLs times 1,000 versus revenue divided by views, which is all these different monetization companies going to filter the traffic. So for this sample, statistically sound sample set of domains. Okay, so let's take a look what else is going on. The earnings per click, which is most people are familiar with. What's going on here? It's really, you know what, they're basically both gone flat, and we can see that a little bit more here. If we look at the average across this period of time, of course the 14 days, and it really is flat. There's been a little bit of an uptick on EPC, but really there's not much going on. Sorry, CTR, not EPC, but it's just static, which surprises me because we're coming into the crazy season of Black Friday, but remember this is the 14-day moving average, so we may see it suddenly rise in the coming week. So make sure you don't miss that one for next week. Okay, the volatility, what's going on with the volatility? You know, on the whole, remember anything above in the sort of blue space versus the red space, anything above the 100% line, it means we're in expansion phase. So on the whole, we've been expanding this past week, and so the volatility has settled down a little bit, which is interesting once again. So we have been expanding, looking at this past week's data. Okay then, so if we continue on and taking a look at what is going on here, there we have the normalized RPM growth from base. Remember, if we're measuring what normalized RPM is now versus what it was back in January, we saw it. Obviously, it slid down here, jumped up as COVID came on board. Then everyone went into a panic. Slid down, and it's progressively gone upwards since that period of time, which is fantastic news for us domain monetizers, that normalized RPM is continuing to rise. Okay, so where is all the revenue going on this sample set of domains? Basically, Google is losing the revenue war. Remember, it really surged across the COVID time as more of those small to medium businesses wanted to get the traffic. And where did they go? They went to Google, but then, and the direct advertisers took an absolute hammering. But now, we can see they've swung things around. It's almost like it's a linear line here. It's just straight. And I think the reason why, as I mentioned last week, the reason why this is happening is a lot of the direct advertisers are moving out of their traditional market verticals, and they're trying to find new verticals that are alive and well in COVID sort of era that they can then sell to. It's either that or they pack up the bags and go home. And that's what's really occurred right here. And you can see that there. And they're taking a bit of the revenue away from Google. So, but the interesting thing here is the traffic levels. If you look, the traffic levels are quite flat for direct advertisers. So even though they're winning the revenue, they're not winning they're winning the traffic. So what does that mean? It means they're spending more for traffic, but they're not getting more of the traffic. Well, Google is spending less, but they're getting the same amount of traffic. So it could be said that Google's playing a smart game because they're still getting the traffic, spending less, and they're not having to pay for it. But it's an interesting one. From our perspective, say at ParkLogic, all we actually really care about, it's really simple, is that our clients get paid more for their traffic. That's what our duty is. That's what we're charged with. And we don't care who wins the traffic as long as they pay more than the other guy. And it's really simple, very mercenary. In fact, our whole algorithmic systems are very mercenary. Which brings up an interesting point. Just recently, I was having a chat with a monetization company, and I won't say who it is, but they said, "Oh, you can just allocate some traffic, more traffic to us, and we'll pay you a bit more, and then you can take that money and you can put it in your bank account, or you can pay it to your customers and everything." I said, "No, that's not the way it works. The way it works is that we would bring all those numbers into the mix to find out if you're winning the traffic. In other words, any monetization provider gets exactly what they deserve, no more, no less." And that was really confusing for them, I must admit, and for me, that they would even think that we would allocate traffic, that would be detrimental to the whole sort of algorithmic switching that we do, say at ParkLogic. But it was a real eye-opener that clearly what some people do is they allocate traffic. We don't do that. If the person wins, they win. If a monetization company loses, they lose the traffic. It just doesn't get it. We're completely mercenary in that regard. Okay, so let's flip back here and to the system. Okay, percentage traffic split I talked about, but this is the graph I love to look at. And you can see just there that Google has really flattened off. And you can see it just there. It's the normalized RPM is flattened off, and the direct advertisers are stepping up. And I'm looking forward to that continuing to step up. Now let's put them on the same chart, on the same axis, sorry, and you see that direct advertisers are really beginning to pull away from Google, and Google's sliding down. Which brings up a point: if you don't have like direct advertisers in your monetization mix, you're losing out. You are. Okay, so what's actually happened? This is last week. I've changed this chart a bit. What I wanted to look at was what happened last week, and we can see here that they're both Google in blue and direct advertisers in red. They were trending down for the normalized RPMs. But now, look at this. Google is basically flat. Direct advertisers, bingo. They're going up. They're really accelerating upwards. So that's great news. That really is good news. And once again, I'm looking forward to seeing what the numbers are next week, because we'll be through the Black Friday and that sort of stuff. And that's going to be just awesome. Okay, so what's going on here with the volatility versus Google and direct advertisers? Hard to see down here. Direct advertisers are pretty good. Google had a bit of a spike. So they're above the 100%. So that's what's pushing us into this expansion phase, which has been good. If we look at what Google's done since the beginning of the year, they really accelerated upwards in terms of normalized RPM. Direct advertisers, not so much, although they've stepped up a little bit down here. You may say, well, does that mean Google's winning? No. Remember, it doesn't matter who wins. And it really doesn't matter who wins, as long as they're paying more than the other guy. And that's what's important. All right, so a couple of things. Don't forget, all this data comes from ParkLogic. And also come to my blog, sign up, do whatever you like. There's lots of material there, and I would encourage people to participate there. And continue on looking at masterclass lessons. I can't emphasize that enough. Like the number of people the number of people I've come to and spoken with who believe they knew everything about monetization, and we finally convinced them, just do masterclass lessons. It doesn't take long. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your business. It doesn't cost anything. We're just giving it out there as our way of giving back to the industry. And just look at it, and I think you'll be staggered of how much there is to monetization that you probably didn't know. And these are some of the people I've spoken to, have like been in the industry for like 15 years or something like that, and they go, oh my gosh, I didn't think there was so much about monetization. And there really is. So go to mcl.club, just do it. Doesn't cost you anything, it just takes a little bit of your time, and you can pick through whatever videos you want and look at and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so it's been a great, fantastic week this past week, and I wish you all the best. Keep safe, keep your family safe, do lots of great things in your business, because that's really what life is all about, is being safe with your loved ones and being able to put food on the table and having a great life. So wish you all the best for each one of you. Talk to you next week. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video and you find them really valuable for your business and helping you make better decisions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or pass the video on to your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. Bye.